Lately, my favorite thing to do with my Raspberry Pi is to set up web-based projects. For example, I've made a trivia app that gets questions from the Open Trivia database and saves scores so you can keep coming back to play more. I think many of you will find fun and interesting things to mess around with in the world of web-based projects. Once you get the hang of the fundamentals, you can make programs that interact with any network-capable device. You can control your Pi with your phone, or have two computers communicate, and so on. To get you started, I decided to make this video explaining the major building blocks I use as a jumping off point. First things first, Apache. Apache is my go-to web server, and for 46% of active websites out there, it's their go-to web server as well. The thing about it is that on your Pi, it just works out of the box. This is the software that allows your Pi to host your project to your network. To use it, apt get it, then put all of your project files into /var/www/html. If you open up a web browser and go to your Pi's IP address, you'll see your project. Index.html is what is served first. Think of it like your homepage. If index.html isn't there, then Apache will simply list all of the items in your HTML folder as a directory explorer, so you can download files remotely. Next, in order to save data and handle files on your Pi, you're going to want to get PHP and familiarize yourself with it. If you don't know, PHP is a scripting language for server-side code. PHP stands for PHP Hypertext Preprocessor. Apparently, back in the day, recursive acronyms were a fad. You can send data using HTTP GET and POST requests, which, if you're making a website, will be handled most likely in JavaScript. Look up Ajax to get started with that. The GET request is what you see when a URL has the question mark, Q equals stuff, P equals things, and all that. If you want to develop on a different machine and then copy the files over to your Pi, and you don't want to do this for every single change, you can use PHP's built-in web server for testing on your development computer. Here's a simple PHP script that will show you how to save any data to a file called message.txt. As an aside, if you don't need an entire website but simply want to send or retrieve data from your Pi, you can use curl on the command line to perform HTTP GET and POST requests. This command posts data.txt to my PHP script, and then when we open up message.txt, we can see that the post was a success. The last building block that I want to mention is JSON. No, not some guy named Jason, but JavaScript object notation. It's a convenient data format for shipping around hierarchical data between programs as plain text. Here's a JSON string on the left and a tree with the same information on the right. At the highest level, there are people, places, and things. People and places both contain arrays of names, but things are broken down further. Things contain man-made things and natural things. Man-made things are guitar jacket and swimming pool. Natural things are either materials like wood or formations like river. So you can see how you can organize different categories of data and make associations using JSON. The reason why JSON is so useful is that it corresponds nicely with Python dictionaries, PHP associative arrays, and surprise surprise JavaScript objects. I'm sure most languages have means of handling JSON strings, since they basically represent key value objects, and key value objects are ubiquitous. What you do is convert between native objects and JSON strings So once you get everything up and running, you won't have to deal with the JSON string directly. So, to put everything together in a contrived example, I've installed Apache and PHP on my Pi. Then I've written this simple website that allows the user to send a message to the Pi and subsequently retrieve the last message sent. After I type in my name and message, the data from these text boxes is converted into a JSON string and sent via an HTTP post request to savenewMessage.php. The PHP script simply overwrites the contents of message.txt with whatever it gets from the client. When you retrieve a message, the reverse happens. First, a GET request is sent to retrieve_last_message.php, which sends the contents of message.txt back to the client. Then the client converts the JSON string into a JavaScript object, and finally it displays the contents to the page. There you have it, the bird's eye view of the primary components that I juggle when creating web-based projects. You can download my example code on GitHub if you like, and mess around with it there. And be sure to share any projects you make with me. I'd love to see what you come up with. Alright, see ya.